Hello everybody, and welcome back to some All the Mods 9 to the Sky. How you guys doing today? I hope you are doing well. I am. So, last episode we got together and we worked on making our HDPE. A couple things. One, you will see that these guys aren't working. We've already run through all 22,000 carrots that we had. And now we're running through the biofuel. Once we run through all this biofuel, we really have no reason to do anything else with this that I know of. We should have enough HDPE after that to take care of this. If not, we can always give it. I mean, it's going to keep making this every time carrots grow. I can always add something else to it. We've got plenty of other crops. So, but as far as today we're going to work towards our next step, which is going to be our thermal evaporation plant. We're going to be making brine. We're going to be making lithium. So, first things first is I need to make a chemical injection chamber. We don't need it. This is part of getting into the ore doubling and tripling and quadrupling and all that. So we don't have any need for that. And this just, we got to finish the rest of this before we can get to that. So, but our thermal evaporation plant. These guys, we can make them from a 4x3x4 structure all the way up to, I think it's like 18 high. And then we can use water to make brine, and then you can use the brine in one to make lithium, liquid lithium. So we're going to set up several of these, several for the brine, and then a couple for the lithium. So we need these guys here. We're going to need, let's do 4 for the, let's put this stuff up. We're not going to need speed upgrades or any of that stuff, at least for the time being. We may hear in a minute. So we're going to make 4 for making brine. We're going to need sinks. Let's make 4 sinks. We're going to need 8 of these guys. And then we're also going to need a lot of these. Alright, so now, these guys have, let's go ahead and complete the quests. These guys have 3 different ways that they can be heated up. One is putting solar panels on the top. If you look right here, this doesn't show them with the solar panels, but you can put 4 solar panels on here to heat it up, but it only works during the day. There is also these guys. We can make a fuel wood heater, which uses anything that's burnable, be it lava, buckets, wood, coal, charcoal, to do it, but it only gets so hot. And then we have the resistive heaters, which uses RF to generate heat, and we can generate as much as we want based on how much power that we give it. That is what we are going to use. We have plenty of RF that we've got. Alright, so now to set these guys up. So we need a I done forgot. It's a 4x4 structure. We can put our valves. We'll put the input on the back. We'll put the output here. And then for the heater, I have to remember how to do that. And then we can put our controller. That was the controller I just put on there. Input, and then we're going to need one for the heat, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to need a few more of those. And as you can see, it's already ready to work. But it's not where we want it to be. So let's get us our wand. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I think 18. And that is as high as it goes, I do believe. I don't think we can get any higher. Yeah, can't get any higher than that. All right, there it went. It formed. We can, with it being a formed structure, it looks like nothing will spawn on it, but we will do that just in case. All right, now for this. What do you have? Oh, what do I have for a helmet? That's a really good helmet. Anyways, we'll worry about that later. All right, so we need a sink. We're going to need our fluid pipes, and then I'm going to need our configurator. This is going to put water in here, but as you can see, it is not doing anything. So if we come over here, get one of our resistive heaters. Why? There we go. We want to give this guy some power. And it's heating right up. We need to get at Mekanism, we need some thermal pipes. I don't want to do that. We're going to make all of these so I can get quest. Let's just do one, because it's automatically going to do the 8. There we go. And then finally our ultimates. And if you guys don't get out of here. Oops. This should now be making brine. And all we are using right now is, I think it's 40 R. Why is that? Using 40 RF a tick. But that is... Oh, we're not draining any power. Okay. Yeah, we are. I need to look at that. So, but we are making brine. Making a 1 millibucket a tick. That's not very good. We need it to be better. All right, so we're back. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. So we have got 4 of these guys set up. We are running at 500 FE a tick on each of these. And in that process, we're making... That's up to 145. So about 147-ish millibuckets a tick. So we are, we're just kind of flying through making our brine now. So that is the thing. So next up will be to take our brine, and the only use brine has, I do believe, brine, we can use it for chlorine and sodium, which I'm not too worried about. We need the gaseous brine. That's for salt. That doesn't show. So for our liquid lithium, we need brine inside of the thermal evaporation towers. So yeah, that is what we need to do. So I need to get 2 more of these going, and we will use those just for the lithium, and we'll set them up like the exact same way. Like I said, we've got water going into the back of these. The resistive heater set 500 FE. You can change it that way. We don't want it to stay that way very long. You need the thermodynamic conductor pipes in order to transfer the heat. So that is doing what it needs to do, and that's what all of them are. And then I just have the mechanical pipes pulling this in and put it in. Brine is the brine we're producing is liquid form, so it will store inside of a fluid drawer. So these guys can just run and run and run, and if we ever fill this thing up, yeah, that's ridiculous. So, like I said, next up is our lithium, and we have, we get the liquid lithium. There is no use for liquid lithium. We'll have to just straight switch it to the gas lithium and go from there. So let me get that set up. All right, so we're back. I've got this thing running now. We've got this. Each one of these are producing just a little bit over a bucket. What I found out is we can only get these things so hot, and it'll only produce so much. So that's where we're at. We are net gaining right now. We're up to, it's been a little while since I recorded the last little bit. So we're up to 458 buckets ish, or however many that is. I don't know. It's a lot. And then we've got our lithium coming over here. We're up to the same. We've got a bunch of the liquid lithium coming here. That's that lithium. I don't have the liquid lithium connected to it. I should probably do that, but we don't need it for anything. So we've got it being stored here, and it's backed up for the moment. So we're good to go there. I also have this guy set up with a recipe for making the lithium dust. We can come in here, set this up, set it for 10. I have the recipe set with just the lithium, and it puts the right amount of lithium in it, and we've got the dust. We're going to need that to make, or at least get through the quest here for all this stuff. And for our, that's for the storage, and then this is going to be for the energy cubes. So, yeah, so we've got 2 more fluids for the moment right now that we need to make. One is going to be, it's not on this page just yet, but we're going to go ahead and get it started. And that is going to be to set us up the heavy water. So we're going to need, I think I put a recipe in here for the pumps. I did. We're going to make 20 of these. That should be, let's make 30. And then we're also going to need the filter upgrade for this, because the filter is what gives us the heavy water. So the next thing I need to do is we need to set us up. I had some stuff on me. We'll just come right off the back here. We'll go 1, 2. Our wand. So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I bet you didn't know you were getting counting lessons today. We went way too far. Should be able to go to right there and fill this up. And then from here, we will place all of our pumps. We'll need, let's get us a different block to use. Netherrack will work. And our pumps. We'll place all these down, and then I've got to give it all of their upgrades. We put the water in last. That way, we don't wind up messing up our... If we place them down with them being in our system, or with them in our inventory, they're getting a little bit of power, then we'll wind up with water and stuff, and that's just not going to work. So, let me get all these wide. I don't guess, oh, there's 1, 2, 3. I need 2 more, which means I'm going to need a few more. We're going to need more other stuff. Now that we got that, I can get the rest of this going with all the upgrades, speed upgrades, energy upgrades, and our filter upgrades. We're going to need more of each of these. So, but yeah, I will be back. All right, so we should be able to just give this guy some water now and be able to go on about our business. Just got to make sure we get all of this as source blocks. Shouldn't be that bad to do here. And that did not go all the way across. That should do it though. We've got source blocks everywhere, and yeah, we are getting our heavy water pretty quick. So that takes care of that. Is there an actual quest for heavy water? I don't know if there is or not. Let's go in here. Doesn't look like it. So our next bit of business is going to be to get our sulfur dust and to get into, we go on here to sulfur, the sulfur dioxide, not the gas, hydrogen, sulfuric acid, the sulfur dust, sulfur dioxide. So we're going to need the chemical oxidizer to get the sulfur dust. All we've got to do is make it. So, two things we're going to need. Well, a couple things we're going to need. Let's come down here to our we're going to need a, that's a P2P. I need a storage bus. We've got one of those. Let's get this ready to go. That's already got a P2P on it, and that has got one of 8. That should be just fine for what we're going to need. That should be connected. We should see heavy water in here. It is going. All right. So we're going to need a export bus. We're going to need some acceleration cards. We're going to need a crafter, and I don't think I did make those. We don't really need a tier 3, but we're going to use it. And we'll just do this right here. So we want a crafter. We're going to need to give this guy some power. We want export bus. And we want a recipe for the sulfur dust. Let's apply that. We want redstone node. We want fast turned on. We want our acceleration cards, and then I'm going to need sulfur essence put in here, and that should, awesome. All right. We do need to get a handful of the dust so we can complete the quest. We are going to need, let's click on that. That's not going to work. We got to make the chemical infuser. Chemical infuser. There's that quest complete. I don't think we need that right this minute. We need a, make the chemical dissolution chamber. We're not going to need it right now. Actually, I've got one made. It's right there. That's a crystallizer. So there's that guy. And then we're going to need the chemical oxidizer. And I'm going to need, we're going to go with 6 of these. And then I'm going to get this set up and I'll be back. Alright, so in order to get all 6 of these running, I had to get another crafter. The one crafter was not spitting them out fast enough, regardless of how many ultimate pipes I added to it. I could probably use Ender.io, or not Ender.io, but Laser.io, maybe got some more. I don't know. We'll have to look at it. But we are producing the sulfur dioxide at a pretty good clip. So, let's get some quests complete. And then we're going to finish up this chapter of Mechanism. We got the ones for the heaters. We got the one for the infuser that we haven't used yet. That's not what I wanted to do. I just lost that. This one's just telling us about the Tier 3 ore factory. This is the start of the Tier 4. The rotary condensator, which we've got over here making our lithium. We've got the chemical oxidizer making our sulfur dioxide. This is just, hey, we can get into the next tier of this stuff. The chemical crystallizer is done. We need the washer, which we're not going to do. Like I said, at least as of right now. So there is our chemical washer. We can put all this stuff in here. I'm done with all the pipes and stuff for the moment. We're just going to kind of complete some quests and be done here. That can go up. Those can go up. That can go up. I think we're good. Alright, so back to our quest. Chemical washer's done. And this is the setup for the Tier 5, I do believe. Or that's Tier 4. So there we go. There's that. We've got the ones for all of the pipes. There we go. We got the one for the filter upgrade. And let's go ahead and, like I said, we'll finish off this chapter. We need the gas burning generator. This has, as far as I know, it has been nerfed in this pack. It's actually a pretty decent source of power early game with the ethylene that we are making. So that quest is complete. Let's go down here. We need the biogenerator. And we're going to need the solars. I'm pretty sure that I put the solars in here. I did. Wait, before we do that, it's going to use that. These are fairly cheap to make, and these generate, I don't know exactly how much it is. Shift in, it doesn't say. Of course, this is not going to show us right now anyways. Let's throw one of these up. Sleep. So this guy's generating, yeah, it's about 90 FE a tick, something like that, that it generates once the sun is fully in the air. But right now, like I said, we have no use for it. So that quest is done. That produces about 17. And these produce 105. So yeah, the 90 wasn't too far off. We need to do the muffling upgrade, which we don't need to worry about. We need the gas upgrade, which I don't think we necessarily need to worry about now. And then a stone generator upgrade. We need steel dust. Steel. We got steel. Let's go pulverize it. There we go. Muffling upgrade. Iron dust. We have a recipe for that. Why is it not? Oh. Gas upgrade. And a stone generator upgrade. Biogenerator. We need biofuel, and I don't have any of that because we're using it all. That's made in a crusher. Let's see if we can get this. Some pumpkins. We got what we need. There we go. Biogenerator, that's complete. We need to make the ultimate energy cube, and I don't think I have any of these recipes set up just yet. No, we might as well go ahead and do that though. Alright, that was easy enough. There we go. That's got our ultimate. That's got all of those taken care of. We've got the other ones through quest. We need portal, teleporter, our robot, a charge pad. We're going to need the quantum entangler. I'm going to set up a recipe for that because we may use it. And then a jetpack. So let's get a recipe set up for this guy here. Awesome. All right, so we're going to need teleporter frame. We're going to need... How many will this make? That'll make the 9 that we need. And that should make our teleporter. That's got that quest complete. Let's go ahead and throw all this stuff in here just in case we need any of it. We need... Let's see, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Teleporter frame, we're good. That we're good. Let's go ahead and get the quantum entangler. This shouldn't take but just a second. Oh, I was going to make a recipe for that, and I didn't. Recipe. I don't think I did. Mechanism. I did make one. Okay. Well, whoops, my bad. So that's squared away. We need our jetpack. That's not what I wanted to do. There's our jetpack. That is nothing. We need polished blackstone. There we go. Our charge pad. What are we missing? There we go. There's a charge pad. And then we need our robot. And we've got everything set for that. There is our robot. And the only thing left is our digital miner, which this guy does us pretty much no good because we have we don't have anything to actually mine. So there's that. And then we just need to craft the rest of this stuff. And boom, there it is, our chapter complete. Our first bit of mechanism. Awesome. I'm not getting any sound. There we go. I've got to get a new headset. Mine just will not hold a charge. Alright, so that's got all of those taken care of. We've got, while we were waiting, I made our furnaces with the aluminum stuff. Got all that squared away. Unobtainium, that's our armor that we did. And we get nothing for the tools. Our getting started quest, we've got one for the biogenerator. And that is where we're at. So, we're halfway through the mechanism quest. We've got everything that we need now to more or less get going with making all the nuclear stuff. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.